Welcome back to Fox Times on the Hill Live this Sunday morning. You know, lawmakers from both sides finally agreed on something this past week in criticizing the U.S. Secret Service director for what they called serious security failures during that attempted assassination on former President Donald Trump. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheatle resigning after testifying before the House. Jeff James is a former U.S. Secret Service agent, joins us live this morning. Jeff, always a pleasure to talk with you, and we've been talking with you a lot over the past 2 weeks. As we are now 14 days from what happened out in Butler, Jeff, what is on your mind, and what have you been going over as far as a linchpin in all of that?
Well, the linchpin is the roof. Of course, you know, how did that young man gain access to that? And I think what we're finding out now is that the Secret Service did assign a local law enforcement partner to be on that roof. And for whatever reason, the investigation will tell us that person that was assigned to that roof got down. I've heard a couple rumors as to why, but I don't want to speculate because we'll find out for sure when the investigation comes out. But yeah, that was the linchpin, that someone was assigned to be there. They dropped their post, and that young man saw that void and filled it, unfortunately.
Jeff, you know, not to tell stories here, but, you know, I've been in a number of those kinds of events. And, you know, one of the things you'll always notice when you're there is that there are Secret Service and tactical teams above you. What should people take away from the fact that those rooftops, seemingly the only person that was, you know, above the president was those two tactical teams that we saw in some of those footage from the audience, and then the shooter himself?
Well, I think what you can take from it is that that little map that everybody shows, that shows where the president was, where the shooter was, and where the tactical teams were, is a little bit deceiving. If you would expand that out, if you'd go on Google Earth and expand that out to 1,000 yards, which is how far out the snipers cover, you'd see there's dozens of rooftops, there's neighborhoods, there's businesses, et cetera. So part of that is that the Secret Service counts on law enforcement partners to help with those posts. But the other part is it's a lot to cover. Yeah, I think when people want to melt it down and say these guys had one roof to look at and they missed it, that's just, frankly, that's just wrong. They have a lot of space to cover. And that's frankly why we count on our law enforcement partners to help us.
There have been some questions about staffing as well at the U.S. Secret Service. I know you've been retired for a number of years, though, but we imagine you were still in touch with some of your former colleagues. Some of the information has come out that there may be from 500 less Secret Service officials that there were in previous years. How big of a staffing issue is this as well? And what is the morale like inside that agency right now?
Well, staffing was always an issue. During my entire 22-year career, staffing was an issue. And the problem is finding the people who can pass all the tests. So the last statistic I heard was in December that for every 248 applicants, one person was getting hired. And that's because the Secret Service needs to keep a high bar of integrity, a high bar of honesty, and that we're hiring the right people. And the problem you have is attrition moves faster than hiring. So people like me retire faster than we can get classes together and get them trained. So you're pretty much always in a deficit when it comes to manpower. As far as the morale goes, look, it was tough. It was times away from family. It was long days. And the pressure was immense. And frankly, I saw it crack people. In fact, what we're doing right now, live unscripted television in front of millions of your viewers, is a piece of cake compared to the pressure that was in the Secret Service. Yeah,
we always know you hear about the Secret Service failures, you really don't hear about any of their successes. Jeff James, former U.S. Secret Service agent, been a fantastic resource for us always, but particularly over the last couple of weeks. Jeff, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tom.
All right.